The Dawnbringer Chronicles. The Warning. Entry 1567. Xenthius. Today saw my questers and I headed for the adamantine chain. We were to deliver one of my eldest warriors to the tower being erected there. Though the orders came from the Lord Commander himself, he declared his ignorance as to the purpose of the construction, and the need to deliver our kin to its gates. God King only knows what it is all for, if even Bastion has been kept in the dark. The Warden has done well in ensuring this project's seclusion. We were beset by a strong desire to turn back long before we saw our destination. No natural reticence sparked this urge, but one of arcane origin, as if our very passage and intent drew unto us a sense of foreboding. If not for the Lord Commander's instruction, we would have surely turned back. We observed herds of parge-boar, a lone gargant, and several marauding warbands, all seemingly moving away from the object of our heading. We dispatched those of the enemy whose paths crossed with our own. The unnatural feeling of apprehension only abated when we laid eyes upon the construction site, a half-finished shell of black stone piercing the clouds like a needle through pale cloth, similar in design to the buildings of the Relictor temples. We set up camp amidst the Duardin who were working on it. All were white-bearded, and had apparently undertaken a vow of silence. Those mysteries aside, it was a relief to have passed beyond the Warden's strange barrier. Tomorrow we leave for Hammerhal to reinforce our allies fighting at the city walls. Lord Celestant, Gavriel Shuahart. Entry 1568. Sunwane. Oros and Angathea caught me writing yesterday. There was some laughter over my habit of log-keeping, which I indulged, but say what they will, it is a comfort to engage in something still human. Oros later approached me after the jesting, though. He said my log-keeping moved him, though he did not fully understand why. I gave him some of my own parchment, so he could keep his own records. I only hope that he remembers this feeling after the next few decades of war. Today we began our march to Hammerhal. The evening was blessedly uneventful, though sleep was fitful under the shadow of the Blackstone shell. The Warden did, however, reluctantly answer some of my questions. The brick was of Lethesian origin, inlaid with that city's customary charms, which explained its foreboding aura, yet still shed no light upon its purpose. Ionis did have some wisdom to share regarding my own mission in Hammerhal. I perceived melancholy in his voice as he mentioned Vandus Hammerhand heading to the same location. It has been a while since I last saw my old ally, and I look forward to our reunion, though the Warden has warned me to temper my expectations. Admittedly, I have heard the rumours, but I cannot help but wonder if Ionis's long sojourn into the Amethyst realm has accentuated his Shaishan pessimism. I claimed that the fight awaiting us would reignite Vandus' spirit, and that a battle blazing with passion to preserve our city would bring the noble determination back to his brow. Ionis said something about passion being part of the problem, but would not elaborate when pressed. I fear from his cryptic rumblings that prolonged isolation may have made Ionis paranoid. Why warn me to be wary of Vandus when Cool's forces are once more casting a shadow over the people of the Parch? Lord Celestant Gavriel Shuahart. Entry 1572. Comet's Day. We were not prepared for the numbers assailing Hammerhal. Upon arrival, my chamber reinforced that of Lord Celestant Aaron Stormwing. The number of bloodbound has nearly doubled since her last correspondence with me, yet, with Talia Vendra leading the defence, the task ahead is far from impossible. It has been decades since I fought alongside a Grand Marshal of her calibre. Her eagerness to join her soldiers on the front line sets a fine example, and her skin is obvious. No wonder those around her fight so doggedly. Make no mistake, this battle will prove hard, but I believe our victory is assured. Tonight, our numbers will match those of the Gore Tide. Tomorrow we will be joined by the Hammerhands, and I am certain the city will soon return to its smoke-belching, noisome self once we secured the borders. We will launch one more attack wave this eve. Vendra has even ordered the cogforts on the offensive. Reports sent ahead of the Hammerhands have declared the deaths of Kul's most trusted generals, names that used to inspire dread in the soldiery. Threk Skullbrand and Vek the Flayer are slain. Morale here has never been higher. Lord Celestant, Gavriel Shuahart. Entry 1573. Moon Day. Reinforcements arrived at noon today. The mortal fighters finally have a moment of respite. The guards have been stretched thin following the departure of the twin-tailed crusade, though Marshal Vedra has deployed those who remain with great shrewdness. One can only compensate so much for human fragility. Vandus rides at the head of the reinforcements upon mighty Kaladax, looking as regal as his statues within the Perspicarium. Were it not for Ionis's counsel, I would never have believed the truth of his imprisonment between campaigns. Yet, now that I know what to look for, I can understand the warden's warnings a little more clearly. Vandus's greetings were clipped and devoid of warmth. His eyes wandered constantly, as I asked him of his journey, as if being anywhere other than the battlefield caused him great discomfort. Though Vandus now slays bloodbound with even greater efficiency, I am perturbed. There is a wildness to his strikes that I have never before seen in my friend. Yet, still we need him here. We are not the only army set to receive reinforcements, and scouts bear reports of an even larger host 3 days' march away. I pray this battle does not escalate into a siege before we can rout the foe before us. There's a look about Vandus now that reminds me of my youth, the look of those who have grown old in the fighting pits, rendered cold and hollow by the ceaseless bloodshed. Lord Celestant, Gavriel Shuahart.